Looking back at the start of the year, you guys had a lot returning. You had a freshman emerging in the goal. You had a transfer, Annie Steinlage, who I guess you looked at a little in the defense, and she ended up becoming a great defensive midfielder for you. But as you look back on the season to where you guys are now, what were the major questions? How have they been answered? How would you kind of summarize how the season has transpired?
We felt pretty confident going into the season because of the work we had done since January about the team that we had. But, you know, the ACC is a very difficult conference. We were playing a very tough non-conference schedule. You're not sure about certain areas of your team, especially you mentioned Annie Steinlage. You know, we weren't really sure whether we were going to play her in the back or in the midfield. So, but I think we got off to a really good start, and our team solidified very well. I think one of the things that helped us going into the year was the trip to England. We took an international trip to England in May. And I think we were further along during our preseason than we normally have been. And I think that was another piece that really helped us. But, you know, we got some good wins early against Penn State and Santa Clara, along with keeping a clean slate in our non-conference. And I think that gave us confidence going into the ACC. And after that, I think we had some good come-from-behind wins, which I think gave us a little more confidence. And I think we've been riding that for a little while now.
Visiting with Coach Cromwell, of course, a UVA grad, at the press conference, and we were discussing your low shots on goal total allowed. And a lot of times people will assume that that's a defensive stat, but particularly for your team, it's a entire team possession. I guess it's in some ways a testament to your great midfield and your ability to hold the ball. If you can talk about how you guys have been able to really bottle up the opponents and hardly allow any chances.
I think we've always wanted to be a very good pressing team, a team that if we lose the ball and we have numbers around the ball on the attacking end, we want to try to get back as quick as we can. I think the fact that we've got some experienced players there has helped us. It's not easy to do. You have to be on the same page, and I think most of these players have been playing together for a long time, and so I think that's helped us. But we also have a very good back four. I don't think our back four gets enough credit. But they've done a great job of making good decisions on the ball, not putting us in situations where we can get countered. And I think that'll be a key to tomorrow's game as well. Yeah, our left back is Molly Menchel. Molly's been a 4-year starter for us. She's a great attacking player. She likes to get forward, and good skills and a good understanding of the game. Our left center back is Emily Sonnet, and Emily's never played back before until she got to college, and she's been fantastic. I think she's been one of the best defenders in the country as far as I've seen. She's just got
good coaching with the position shift.
No, I'm not sure about that. That's a natural kid taken to the position, so she's got great instincts and just a very smart player. And then our right center back is Shasta Fisher, and Shasta's played a little bit for us back there, but she's really coming to her own this year. I think she's getting a lot more confident back there. We used her. She's a very versatile player. We've used her on the outside, and we've used her in the midfield, but I think she's really coming to her own as a center back this year. And then our right back is Morgan Stith, who been there for a long time. We started her earlier in her career as a center back, but she's really, I think this is a more suited position for her with her skills to get forward and her footwork and her defending abilities out wide.
You and Santa Clara are the only teams in the country with 3 double-digit goal scorers. Of course, Morgan Bryan, Mackenzie Doniak, and I believe Brittany Radcliffe off the bench for you. You could speak about them individually, but particularly what a player like Radcliffe does for you with that spark. I imagine many teams in the country should be a starter as a freshman.
Yeah, that's very true. I think Brittany, you want players coming off the bench that can give you a spark, that have energy, that can provide your team a lift. And I think Brittany, with her pace, her competitiveness, her quickness, and her goal-scoring ability, she's been outstanding for us this year. And she's really given us some big goals in big situations. Mac has had a tremendous year from start to finish. We saw glimpses of this last year, but I think she's just more comfortable in her surroundings at Virginia. You know, coming from California, I think she understands the style, and she just feels more confident in this setting now. And we've always known she's been would score goals for us, but she's been fantastic and score goals in a number of ways. I think the thing, I've always said that Morgan, what makes Morgan special is she makes other players around her better, and I believe that. But I think the other thing that makes Morgan so lethal offensively is I think she's always looking to play vertically. I think it's like a football quarterback that would be, would you want to throw balls out in the flat, would you want to throw screens or would you want to throw vertically down the field? And I think Morgan has that sort of attacking mentality. She wants to play the ball forward. She wants to get behind you. She's trying to find out ways where she can do that. And that kind of ability is just, it's instinctual and it's hard to teach.
Comment on your guys' familiarity with this field, if that means anything. I think almost every ACC tournament since 03 except one has been played here. Maybe it doesn't really matter. But and then secondarily, we visited last week about the impact Bobby Clark has had on you, the Notre Dame coach. You guys were together at Dartmouth and Stanford. And I imagine when you achieve something like this as a coach, you think back to people who've impacted you.
Well, yeah, we're familiar with this field, and I think from our standpoint, it's nice to be here. We understand it. We know what it's like, and we know the surroundings well. Will it have an impact on the game? I don't think so. I think it's a great surface. They do a great job here, so I think the game will take care of itself. But I think it'll help us that we've got familiarity with it. As far as Coach Clark, my family's been a big part of my life, helped me bring about the values that I think are so important to coaching. But as far as somebody who's influenced my professional life, I think Bobby would have to be the foremost person. He's been an amazing resource for me personally. You don't really know how events and situations bring people together, but I'm very grateful that I was brought together with him, that our lives crossed paths, and he's just been a major influence on my coaching. Yeah, I mean, we've been, as long as I've known Bobby, he's been very inclusive, very accommodating, very willing, and very secure in his knowledge and his understanding of the game to offer that to anybody else. And he did that to me. And when we were at Dartmouth and Stanford together, we worked very closely together. It was very much the soccer programs as opposed to one program over the other or anything like that. And that's just his nature. He's a very inclusive person. He's a very giving person. He's a very supportive person, as well as just an amazing resource in terms of soccer knowledge.
I know you got to run, so thanks so much.
Okay, Pete. Thank you.